so good.
Right now, it's what's successful.
Yeah, well, you won't have any. Once
I'm going to have to
around.
demonstrate.
You the counselor?
Yes.
Good. Who's the counselor? Well, it's a good time to watch it because of all the people come through the corridor.
You mean I was on TV?
You were.
I need to go back and do it again.
But then you don't get to see it, so now you have to
You have to
appreciate
that.
All right, Charles Carr is the next
See, those people
presenter.
are way down.
Are they way down?
He's
See,
Those are
they're
my
interacting with the other pieces.
Oh, we've seen Dr. The two biology professors. They're
If you want to get a good view if short people want to stand in front, tall people in the back, get over here.
I've seen stand in front of me.
She's like 8 feet tall, Sam.
Yeah, I'm wearing heels, so.
Alright? Okay.
Okay, Charles Carr, digital art major, and he's going to present his project realization, interactive algorithmic composition. Okay.
Alright, hello everyone, thank you for coming out. My name is Charles Carr, and this is Realization. It is an interactive algorithmic composition. Now, what is an interactive algorithmic composition? Well, to be interactive, the audience has to have agency. You, as users or audience members, play a role in shaping the final product, and that is interactive. It is algorithmic because there is a step-by-step procedure at work. And it is a composition by my standards because in the end, there is a musical composition. Now, as you may have noticed, there is a Logitech HD webcam here. All right, this is the same kind of webcam you'd use as like a Skype call and everything on a computer. And it is connected to the computer, and the computer treats it as a motion sensor camera. You see someone walking in here, oh, he goes over there. So it's facing this way. You can see people that are interacting with like Ian's piece, walking into the hallway, walking into this room over here. And this is just generally how you interact with the piece. So the interaction is interesting because as a normal audience member, and it's abnormal now because you're looking at it, as a normal audience member, you will interact with a piece before you even realize it. You can't get to this point in the gallery without walking past this camera in some way, in some form. You have to at some point. So it is this moment of realization that I'm trying to capture. You get to this point and realize that you were part of something without even knowing about it. And yeah, it's that moment of realization. So I would like to now just go back a little bit and talk about how the idea originated. In August of 2013, and this is back in the beginning of my senior year, I wanted to write a series of chord progressions using a simple user-friendly interface. Now this is not the same idea. This is a completely different idea. This is just writing chord progressions and then having like some sort of, just like a mouse here to interact with the computer. You'd be able to say, hey, I want this to go into the A major key, and it would just start playing A major, or playing B flat minor, whatever key you wanted it to, and it would be creating chord progressions on the fly. But this wasn't conceptual enough for me. I didn't really feel like I was connected to the project, and I couldn't really grasp it as much. So what I wanted to do is explore different interactions. I didn't want a mouse, and I ended up in October getting closer to the idea of a motion sensor camera. I like the idea of a motion sensor camera being how you interact with the piece. So in October 2013, I was looking at using a motion sensor camera to control the composition. And the user at this point was actually aware of moving in front of the camera. They weren't unaware at this point, that was before. And I would just I'm still just in this compose a song and have the song play, and I would already know what it is. So it wasn't as algorithmic as I first thought it was. So later on, in January 2013, I decided that I wanted to make the users unaware. I wanted you not to be able to realize what you were doing until you looked at the final product. And this is something that I felt I could grasp onto compositionally. It's something that is now part of the composition, as the composition itself now, in a way, personifies the user experience by sort of happening upon this destination note, and it itself having a moment of realization. So now it's been conceptualized. Now we have a moment of realization in the user and the composition itself. which is like how I kind of finalized my idea. And from there, I worked on this project. So the skills I developed, I'm really proud of like how it developed and how it concluded. I've developed skills using Cycling 74's Max, which is a visual programming language used by this piece, even this piece, Ian's piece, and a piece in there actually. So a lot of pieces use this visual programming language, and it's best for like installation pieces like this. It's unparalleled for doing this kind of thing. I also furthered my skills as a composer. I not traditionally sitting in front of a piano, and that's how I've been composing mostly throughout my Stetson career here. I would sit in front of a piano and write music, but now I'm looking at composing differently, composing towards this user experience and how you interact with the piece, and it's added a new dimension to it, and I really like this new dimension. And taking a big project to its completion, because this is an ambitious project, and I have proposed a lot of ambitious projects even to myself throughout my Stetson career, and not often do I take it to its completion. Being forced to take something to the completion like this has helped me, and I'm really glad that I can call this my own. I'm glad that I finished it, and I'm really proud of that final product. So, as for my own, I guess, self-assessment, I feel like adding more instruments could have been possible. Adding more interactive elements could have been possible. This would have, however, changed the compositional structure, and it was already it was pretty complicated in and of itself by January. I didn't want to overly complicate it, get too overly ambitious. So I kept it where it was. And the reason I chose like a marimba is what you can barely hear it. The reason I chose a marimba is because I felt it sounded like a good solo instrument. So just to give you an idea of that, I'm going to demonstrate by walking this way. You can see on the TV screen where I am. Just to give you that visual idea. And this TV is showing you basically just the motion sensor filter through this webcam. That's all you're seeing here. Okay. So, any questions?